Hello Internet, Seth Skorkowski, and today we'll be discussing the Call of Cthulhu adventure, Waiting for the Hurricane. Written by Matthew Sanderson, the adventure appears in the Pulp Cthulhu handbook released by Chaosium. The setting is Key West during the 1935 Labor Day hurricane. While that was a very real tragedy, for my own campaign we moved the date to the 1920s. Other keepers might want to move the date or move the location to somewhere more appropriate for their own campaign, and as long as it's taking place on an island, that shouldn't be very difficult for them to do. The scenario is very short and easily playable in just a single session. Being a Pulp Cthulhu adventure, it doesn't feature any of the slow investigation or creeping dread that normal Call of Cthulhu scenarios have, but instead it focuses on action.
And by action, we mean a ton of action. Pulp Cthulhu calls itself two-fisted action, and this baby is loaded with combat.
You know, you might want to have waited till after the spoiler tag to mention that.
No way. This is Pulp Cthulhu, and Pulp players are looking for some boom, 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 and they need to know that that's exactly what they're going to get with this adventure.
Fair enough. So, for any players in the audience, from this moment forward, we're going to be laying out the spoilers. So if you're playing Pulp Cthulhu, or if you're interested in playing Pulp Cthulhu, tell your keeper to check this scenario out. Alrighty, now that the disclaimer's out of the way, let's dive in. The plot of the adventure is that the Esoteric Order of Dagon plans to use the hurricane as a time to give an enormous sacrifice to Cthulhu, summoning a wave of oblivion to wipe out all the life on Key West. The PCs begin the adventure at the Grand Hotel. There are a few ideas as to why they're staying or possibly working there. For my own campaign, I had one of the more psychically attuned PCs have visions of the destruction of Key West in their dreams. Hoping to stop this destruction by the mythos, they hurried down there, but they had no idea what it was that they were looking for. All they knew is that they had to be there immediately.
Oh yeah, you know what it also told us? It told us to bring guns. It is a lot faster for me to draw my spare pistol than it is for me to take an entire round to reload the one that I already have. So we brought all the guns.
Because my players started the game with a hint that there was something going on, the first portion of the game was spent with them kind of screwing around Key West, trying to figure out what was going on or what they were supposed to be looking for. Since they were staying in the Grand Hotel, I kept track of where they were at all times. That way, once the game began, they could be at multiple parts of the hotel at that moment. On a minor note, I wish that the module had provided a floor plan for the hotel's private apartments, because one of our richer characters decided to rent one. The adventure begins as three cultists stroll through the lobby and head upstairs. The PCs might notice a holstered pistol beneath a jacket, but maybe not. A few minutes later, when a stabbed employee comes tumbling out of the elevator and shotgun blasts start echoing down from upstairs, that's when the real adventure begins. The cultists are gathering sacrificial victims. They strike at three different parts of the hotel, all within a couple rounds of each other, so the PCs that are starting at different portions of the hotel might be facing different attackers. There are some police here, and they might even join in the fray. Instead of rolling out their encounter with the cultists, I simply had the PCs watching from an upper floor balcony as one of the cops was killed and another one was wounded as the last cultist jumped in his truck and made his escape.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You just did that? Then why were you rolling your dice behind the screen, being like, ooh, that whole time?
Yeah, because, I was messing with your head.
Wow, the truth is a lot less exciting now that I know it.
Several things can happen from here. If the PCs took prisoners, they might interrogate them. The injured will need to go to the hospital, and the hotel staff will quickly learn that the police are not answering their phone at the station. Keepers might need to help guide them here. I had one of the injured police officers ask that the PCs take the prisoner to the police station as he was being hurried off to the hospital. If the PCs come up with this on their own, then great. But don't be afraid to have any of the many people at the hotel drop that little suggestion in the PC's ear. Sometimes it's a little difficult for players to get a hint.
I am right here. It hurts my feelings when you say stuff like that.
Then get better at taking hints and I'll stop saying it. Besides, you're an NPC, you don't count.
Oh yeah, forget that I'm imaginary sometimes.
Now, The PCs don't have to go to the police station, and regardless of what they do from here, they'll eventually meet Hector Mendez, who's being chased by gun-wielding cultists. Once Hector is rescued, he'll tell them how he was once a member of this cult, but he left once he realized that they intended on killing people. He's tried to thwart the cult and escape, but the island bridge was destroyed by the storm, and the cultists have since recovered the artifact that they need to summon the Deep Ones. The only way to prevent the Wave of Oblivion spell and to save Key West is for the PCs to go to a different island and stop the cultists at their temple. Hector, of course, will offer to take them there in his boat. I recommend that keepers flush out Hector a little bit more. The players will likely ask him a lot of questions, so be ready to answer as to how many are in the cult, who leads it, what weapons and spells they might have at their disposal, as well as 1,000 other just random questions that are going to enter your players' heads.
So, Deep Ones, they sometimes breed with people. So, do you get it on with a fish frog girl, anything like that? I'm not judging. I'm just curious is all. What was it like?
Another reason to flesh him out is that he can be used as an emergency backup character in case any of the players lose their own characters. Being that the adventure is only taking place between the time of afternoon and sunset means that if any players do lose their characters, there isn't going to be really that much time for them to be able to bring in a backup PC of their own, and they might just be, sitting there watching everyone else play, and that's not much fun at all. So give them Hector and they can just keep going. Once the PCs arrive at the docks to get the boat, they'll be there just in time to see several cultists ride off on a boat with their soon-to-be sacrificial victims. More cultists are left behind, and the PCs will have to fight their way through them in order to get their own boat. This is a good fight, since several of the cultists are throwing dynamite as their attack. The explosions of mystics of dynamite detonating and showering seawater on all the PCs was a lot of fun. Personally, I wish there had been some sort of map provided for the marina. One thing to remember is that because the storm is so bad that characters that are moving around outside have to make dex checks to avoid flying debris or getting knocked over, you might want to add a penalty dice to the throw rolls for those cultists that are throwing sticks of dynamite. The module encourages that once the PCs find a boat, that they then chase the cultist boat that has the prisoners. This part to me was a little bit tricky. First, it took my players quite a few rounds to be able to eliminate the 6 cultists at the marina. That gives the second boat a serious head start on them. Now, if you want to make it a very cinematic scene and have a chase, then go for it. Maybe say that the escaping boat had engine trouble or got seawater in the engine, whatever, and that's what stalled them long enough for the PCs to have a good chase with them. If the cultist boat is chased all the way to the island, and the PCs are going to lose any chance of surprise once they get to the ceremony, because the cultists are going to land. They're going to be like, oh my god, these guys are right behind us. Start the ceremony now so they can't stop us. So instead, what I recommend is that you don't have the chase go all the way to the island. Halfway through the boat chase scene, the PCs will hit this monster wave that's caused because a star spawn of Cthulhu was passing under the boat and it's heading its way toward the island as well. This is a good point to actually end the chase at. So don't mark it as the end of the chase on your chase tracker. Just have a moment that if the lead boat crosses this line, that's when the wave happens and separates the two boats from one another. The cultists are going to think that maybe the PC's boat got capsized or went down, and they're going to go about setting up the ceremony as normal and not ruin the element of surprise once the PCs arrive.
Ha, you thought you got away, didn't you? Yeah, but I'm like a bad penny, or like a bobber, because I float. I am really bad at these.
The final island portion of the adventure was a lot of fun because it requires that the PCs use stealth. In order to get inside the underground temple, the PCs had to eliminate the guard outside without him raising the alarm. Once the alarms are raised, they have 10 rounds to stop the ceremony. And while 10 rounds might sound like a long time, the 12 sacrificial victims will all be dead by the second round. Inside, the PCs will encounter 5 Deep Ones, including a Priest of Cthulhu, a couple villain characters, and 20 cultists. 10 of those cultists will peel off from the ceremony to try to stop the PCs, so this fight is going to be brutal. Once the sacrifices are killed, the PCs will then need to eliminate the villains before that they can escape through the pool in the middle of the floor. After that, the only option left to be able to stop the Wave of Oblivion spell is to destroy the statue of Cthulhu that's now housing 12,000 magic points to power this Wave of Oblivion spell. In addition to that, if the PCs don't stop the Deep One Priest from leaving, then he's going to send the Star Spawn of Cthulhu back after the PCs.
Now, lucky for us, the first thing that we did when we entered that room was we killed that Deep One Elder. Like, that was our entire introduction to the room. Knock, knock, bang, you're dead. Had we not done that, that Star Spawn would have definitely cleaned our clocks.
If the PCs survive the encounter and they check out the temple afterwards, they can find a diary that tells them exactly what was going on. So thanks to Chaosium for allowing a chance for the PCs to learn the whole story. But one thing that I added myself was that there was some Deep One gold hidden inside one of the rooms. It makes a nice little reward for a job well done. My players had a fantastic time with this, and the game was a ton of action and excitement. However, some keepers won't like that the story is so linear. The PCs don't have much control on where they go and sort of follow a script from scene to scene. I don't mind that in a game like this, but some keepers should be warned in case they do. While the maps of the hotel and the island temple were great, the scale of the temple seems a bit much. The key specifies the length of 50 yards. The temple itself is 3 times that, making it 150 yards or 450 feet across. Because we use miniatures, the most my board could fit was 150 feet for the temple, and that came to a pretty good size where everything wasn't so spread out. Overall, I found waiting for the hurricane to be a lot of fun and a very exciting adventure. While I wouldn't want all of our adventures to be non-stop combat, it's sometimes great to take a break from all the research and investigation and just for the PCs to go and punch evil in the face.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to see some more of our stuff, just hit the subscribe button. But until next time, players, you have a great day.